Meet Smeargle, an average kid who had a unique touch. She had a penchant for nature, drawing, and punk rock bands like the Stooges and the Replacements. Glasses adorned her face, and her mother insisted on braces. Classic nerd stuff. Smeargle was content to keep to herself. She relished her differences. In her time, she might have said she wasn't like other girls, but now, such comparisons seem outdated and sexist. Nevertheless, her loner persona made her an easy target. Over time, she changed, mostly because it was just more convenient that way. She stopped drawing bugs and listening to music alone because apparently that was considered weird. She felt like she'd lost a part of herself and blamed those who had targeted her. Years passed and those tormentors moved on with their lives. One became a lifeguard, another rose through the ranks in the army, and one even ventured into international drug smuggling. You know, normal stuff. Smeargle, however, never forgot. Now, it was her time for revenge, and she would use what they took from her against them. Her love of drawing would be their downfall. With record-breaking speed, she dispatched Brock and Misty. Brock wasn't entirely unpleasant, just a bit creepy. Misty embodied the classic mean girl type, mocking Smeargle for her baggy clothes and safety pin-adorned ripped jeans. Smeargle battled Misty and emerged victorious. However, something strange happened when she faced Surge. He didn't remember her. He seemed genuinely confused when she mentioned what he had done to her and why she was there. He too fell swiftly, though. As she prepared to take on Erica, who, oddly enough, was a #weird girl like her, Smeargle couldn't help but reflect on her battle against Surge. For the first time, doubt crept in. Why was she doing this? Erica, too, fell with surprising ease. It was genuinely heartening to see her thriving in life. She still had her deep connection with nature, a passion that she had held on to since childhood. It was a stark contrast to Smeargle, who had lost her love from drawing along the way. It struck her as strange. Next on her list was Sabrina, who had been particularly cruel to her. They had been friends in the early years, but grew apart as they got older. Both had endured bullying when they were young, but at least they had each other back then. Sabrina, however, tried to distance herself from Smeargle by mercilessly tormenting her. Confronting Sabrina about her betrayal, she stood stone-faced. However, after her swift defeat, her demeanor changed drastically. She apologized profusely and broke down in tears. She shared the pain of abandoning her only friend and begged for her forgiveness. Smeargle found herself at a loss for words and decided to walk away without saying anything. From there was Koga, who was the kind of guy who peaked in high school but never moved on. He was the kind of guy that looked like he was 30, kind of a John Travolta and Grease type energy. Smeargle wasn't really mad at him. In fact, she had a crush on him in high school. However, now he looked worse for wear, and she couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for him. As Smeargle made her way through the gym leaders, a sense of unease lingered in her mind, particularly about Koga. Next up, though, was Blaine, a person that she never quite understood. She vaguely recalled rumors of the criminal connections to Giovanni, although it could have been a figment of her imagination. Many of his gym trainers did seem shady, which added to the mystery. Furthermore, he was a scientist, which, I don't know, what does that have to do with the crime part? I don't really get it. Why, she wondered, was his gym key locked in a haunted mansion of all places? What did that have to do with the other things? I don't know. However, Blaine had been a beloved teacher during Smeargle's childhood. He had always encouraged her and embraced her eccentricities. When he saw her again, there was a momentary flash of disappointment in his eyes. He didn't voice his thoughts, though. Instead, he welcomed her warmly and congratulated her on her victory after she had won. She sensed an unspoken disapproval, and it weighed on her. As she approached Giovanni, a powerful figure she hardly knew. Doubt gnawed at her conscience. Giovanni had never spoken to her, and after the battle and dismantling his criminal empire, she found herself apologizing. She apologized for harboring such a deep-seated anger, for never finding it in herself to forgive, and using her once beloved talent for nefarious purposes. It dawned on her that people could change. None of the trainers she had encountered along her vengeful journey were the same individuals as she had known in the past. They had moved on, found happiness, so why couldn't she? And so she did. For the first time in years, Smeargle sat outside, on the grass, searching for bugs to draw in her sketchbook. The sun shone brightly, and she was lighter for it. I was thinking, and I thought how incredibly based it would be to just end the video right there and not show the Elite Four run. I mean, that's how the story ends, so why not? But I'm a coward, so here I am talking about the video instead. The main reason I did this is because I would normally talk about the strategy of the fights during each fight, but there are only so many ways I can say I spore, I belly drum up, and I win. There are only so many ways I can hit the opponent with a sleep microorganism, played my tummy percussion, and emerged victorious. Anyway, I thought at the start of the run that this might involve some sort of strategy, but it turns out the answer to that is no. Smeargle's main gimmick is the fact that it can learn any move via sketch. The drawback, obviously, is that it is a 250 base stat total mon, so what could it possibly do? The main issue with that being the drawback in the base games is the fact with investment in speed EVs and IVs, Smeargle is going to outspeed anything less than around 120 base speed if they have no speed investment. I said in a previous video that base speed of 70 is really all you need, and this is basically why. Really, the only Pokemon you need to worry about in the game are Alakazam, Gengar, and Aerodactyl. Alakazam is not that worrisome because you can always extreme speed it. Being able to outspeed everything and put it to sleep 100% of the time immediately after allows you to get the belly drum combo off every single time. Also, having access to Return, a 102 base power move along with the same type bonus, is more than enough to one-shot essentially anything. The only time I really ran into issues were when they had a normal Zist, but in that case I would just swap Return out for something super effective. So that wasn't really that hard. I was actually trying to think during the run if there's anything that could beat this game faster. And the only real way you would beat it is by just one-shotting everything without having to set up. Because optimally, Smeargle is going to need 2 extra turns to Spore and Belly Drum, and then it one-shots everything. I was thinking maybe something like Mew, but it doesn't learn Belly Drum or Spore because they aren't TMs, and it can only earn every TM. So yeah, I kinda hoped this would be a harder run, but even without healing or being 10 levels under the cap, it really didn't change that. So yeah, that's all I have. Goodbye.